Today, I'm going to explain hydrogen peroxide and I'm going to go over my top 6 uses for it in my fish hobby. What's up YouTube and all my fish keeping friends? How's it going out there in fish tank land? This is Joseph Hardin from JH Aquatics and I'm here to share with you all my fish keeping adventures, knowledge, and more. And today, I'm going to take a look at hydrogen peroxide. Alright guys, hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. It's 2 hydrogen molecules, 2 oxygen molecules, right? It's very powerful stuff. I love it. I use it all throughout my life. I could probably do a whole YouTube channel on hydrogen peroxide. Anyways, but we're not going to do that. The deal with hydrogen peroxide and the way it works is it breaks down the cell walls of organisms. So it's very, very effective in killing bacteria and killing other things like algae and mold. Please be warned guys, and keep in mind that hydrogen peroxide is an oxidizer. It is dangerous. It can harm you. It can burn your skin. So you do need to wear latex gloves when you're working with it. I do recommend that, even with 3%. There are many different kinds of hydrogen peroxide out there. It goes from about 1 to 2, 3%, all the way up to 90% hydrogen peroxide. That's what they use to make rocket fuel. You really have to know what you're getting when you're buying hydrogen peroxide. In most cases, and pretty much everything I'm talking about today, you're going to want to deal with 3% over-the-counter 3% hydrogen peroxide. You want to keep in mind that there are stabilizers in it that can affect organisms as well. There is phenol, there's sodium, some kind of other sodium, and a tetrasodium phosphate, I believe. Just different stabilizers in the hydrogen peroxide to keep it alive. The shelf life of hydrogen peroxide is supposed to be about a year or so. So I'm going to go over my top 6 uses in my aquarium hobby for hydrogen peroxide. Number 1 is going to be all of my tanks. Whenever I have a new tank, I'm going to clean it out with a couple of different things, but I do use hydrogen peroxide. I also use hydrogen peroxide inside of my reservoirs. I use hydrogen peroxide to clean my water reservoirs every 2 or 3 times that I fill them and create water in them. And I also use a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in that water to treat it for the chlorine. The hydrogen peroxide will actually help to break down the chlorine naturally. Number 2, I'll use hydrogen peroxide to soak my sponges. It's basically a reset, because you have to keep in mind that hydrogen peroxide is powerful. It's not just going to kill bad bacteria, it will also kill good bacteria. So I call it a reset to the sponge. But say if I have a lot of blackbeard algae or whatnot on the outside of this sponge, I'll soak it in hydrogen peroxide and it'll all turn red, it'll end up falling off, and it's completely reset though. All the positive bacteria that's in the sponge is also going to be dead. Number 3, I use hydrogen peroxide to clean my nets. A lot of people I see asking and talking about, how do you clean and sterilize your nets? Well, I put water and hydrogen peroxide in a bucket and I soak them all at once, all together, get them nice and clean, and I let them sit for, 6 hours, whatever, let them sit overnight, and the next day I'll dry them off, or I'll shake them dry and put them out in the sun if I have the opportunity to do that, because the UV rays are helpful as well. But otherwise I just soak them in hydrogen peroxide and I dry them. Number 4, I use hydrogen peroxide to clean out all of my hoses. It can be really awesome. Even hoses in your filtration systems, from your pumps and your filter systems. I literally just run it through here. If you've got a lot of stuff going on in a filtration system, you can literally hook a pump up to it and have it recirculating through the pump and through the hose and clean the whole hose out. Or a lot of times what I just do is I'll put a little bit of hydrogen peroxide into the hose, put a little bit of water in here, use my thumb, cut off both ends, and just rinse it through there just to basically kill the majority of all the bacteria and whatnot that could be lingering inside of my hoses and my vacuums and whatnot. Number 5. Number 5 is a tough one. I use hydrogen peroxide in my tanks. rarely, but I do use hydrogen peroxide in my tanks. I will use it for the algae. I will put it directly on algae that I'm trying to get rid of. Sometimes I will dose the tank a little bit. I never go over 1 millimeter per gallon. Some people do 2 millimeter. A lot of people say 2 milliliters per gallon, but I'm not really trying to stress my fish that much, or the plants as well. So I keep it to 1 milliliter per gallon, and I can dose a tank like that as if I want to, but I prefer to dose it directly and get that 10 milliliters or whatever it might be into the tank by dosing. Dosing directly onto the algae. Number 6, and one of the only other reasons I put hydrogen peroxide inside my tanks is if I'm treating a fish, if I'm medicating a fish. Some kinds of fin and skin funguses I will treat with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide as well, along with other medications. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this short, sweet video, just giving you an idea of how I use hydrogen peroxide. Let me know in the comments below how you use hydrogen peroxide in your fish hobby. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, you like this content, want to see more, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And remember guys, keep your tanks clean, your fish fed, and have fun.